Little monkey. I just knew that that's what it was.
Uh,
Now, you get out. You started teaching. Tell me some of the places you taught at.
I taught 6th grade at Haskin School in Sandwich. I taught junior high at Irving School in Berwyn, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade mathematics and science. I taught English and journalism at Fenton High School in Bensonville. I taught public relations at Oakton College in Des Plaines. I've substitute taught in Elgin, Schaumburg, Mount Prospect, Elk Grove Village, Hoffman Estates, Hanover Park.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
What else have you done for a living? Like
Well,
from when you were a kid
my
to now.
my main thing was I was in advertising and public relations I also was public relations for the Fenton School District, and then I worked for Carl Byer and Associates as a public relations agency downtown. They were out of New York, but I worked downtown on the Chematron account. Then I took a job as head of PR for UOP in Des Plaines. Then when they got acquired, was out and became director of communications for Pioneer Screw and Nut in Elk Grove Village. They changed their marketing, and I went up to Milwaukee with an advertising agency. Worked there a year. We're kind of coming down to the end. Then did the public relations for the National Sporting Goods Association, and that did it about that, because about that time when they changed their plans, Barb and I got divorced.
Now let's go back a little bit. Universal Oil Products. What can you tell me that was very famous about UOP back in the day when you were there?
Well, what you liked is we also did the auto racing and
so what kind of auto racing?
Formula One and Formula 5000.
And what else?
The Canadian American Series for sports cars. Yeah.
Now,
your mom and I would go to the races.
Yeah, I got to go to see one at Elkhart Lake, and you used to go to Waukegan Glen, Laguna Seca, and a couple other places. Now, at the time, UOP used to have a famous driver.
Well, they had Jackie Oliver, and then they had the other one. I forgot the guy's name.
Peter Revson.
Peter Revson. I had to handle his obituary when he got killed driving our car in South Africa.
In Brazil, by the way.
No, it was South Africa.
It was Brazil.
It was South Africa.
It was Brazil.
No, Carlos Paci was our Brazilian driver.
And I remember getting a phone call at home, and you had to go upstairs, and then you had to go and make a bunch of statements on the radio regarding Peter Revson being killed. Yeah. Now, Revson was famous for what?
He was the nephew of the founder of Revlon.
Now, you've also had a couple other jobs. Started out auxiliary.
Oh, I did auxiliary police in Schaumburg, helping with the parking of the... and then I did at the church, and then the bike patrol in Schaumburg.
Yeah, that's right, the bike
parades,
patrol.
And then.
Now after that, so you got into the, you got your foot in the door with kind of, police work, law enforcement.
Law enforcement, yeah. Well, after Barb and I got divorced, I needed a job and went with health benefits, and I took the job with the McHenry County Sheriff's Police. As a deputy, and now they say it's correctional officer. Worked there for the last 11 years, and that's where I retired from. But I needed the health benefits, and that's where we went.
So that's where you met a lot of my friends.
Yeah, they still talk nice of you.
As well they should when you wear a badge. So now you married my mom. You were married to my mom for how many years?
I think it was 15 or 17.
We'll go with 17 because that's what it was. You got divorced in 1976.
Yeah, we were together 19 years.
Yeah, you got divorced in 76. And then...
I married Barb the following year, I think. And we were married for 12 years. And then in 89, I met Pat at a singles function in Crystal Lake. And we began going together, and we've been together ever since. We got married... we've been married now 9 years.
She's been putting up with your crap that long, huh?
Yeah, well, we've been together 23 years.
And now...
new records. Your mom says the same thing about Jim, that she and him set the new record.
Leibach had 3 kids.
Barb Leibach had 3 kids. Ricky... Debbie, and Suzanne.
Okay, yep. Now, Pat.
Pat has 3 kids. Gordon, Trisha.
Married to who?
Gordon married Wendy. They have 3 kids.
And?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, the twins, Tyler and Hannah, and well, I'm blocking. Kurt. Trisha doesn't have any kids. She does, her big thing is animal rescue, and Tina has 2, Donald and Bria.
And Trish is not married.
No,
Tina is.
yeah. Tina's married to Don Fernstrom.
What does Trish do?
Trisha's an LD teacher at New Trier, learning disorders teacher at New Trier High School.
Tina?
She has a cat rescue. She's been shacking up 11 or 12 years now.
Tina has?
No, Trisha has. And with
Her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend.
Now, Tina is married to.
I said Donald Fernstrom.
And does what for a living?
She's a nurse.
Where at?
She works for an insurance company doing phone triage.
Okay.
And Gordon is a machinist, and he does obviously that, and so does Curtis. They work for the same company. Gordon also does some of the input into their computer-assisted designs, CAD/CAM.
Now, we lived out in Carpentersville, then we lived in Schaumburg, then you moved from Schaumburg and you moved up to where?
Woodstock.
And then to where?
Debbie lived with
you.
me.
I understand.
And then I had a condo in McHenry, and then I was living with Grandma,
Out in Cary.
helping her and Carrie, and then we bought this home here in Belvedere.
So now it brings us current with all of that.
Yes.
So, anything that you want to go and add for your next generations that are coming up?
Like for Robert the Turd?
And Alexander.
And Alexander. Yeah, knock off the use of some of those swear words, Alex.
Yeah, but so when the purpose of this is so that my kids, Robert and Alex, can go and learn about their family, but now their kids can go and hear about them.
Yeah.
And so that they can know
we're
about.
We're very proud of all the Grandma Pat and I. We have 13 grandkids.
Name them.
We'll start with the oldest down to the youngest, which would be Kurt, who is Gordon's son.
Right.
Then comes Michael, who is Mark's son. Then comes Then comes Robert. Robert is the third oldest. Then comes Patrick. Then comes Alex. Then let's see. After Alex comes Brianna. No, Anthony. Then Brianna. Now that's 11-year-olds. I got it. The twins are Hannah and Tyler. Then Tyler. Now Donnie. Now Kirsten. And now Bria. That's the 13 right there. The one thing to remember. I began as a swimmer. I was a competitive swimmer. Played a little bit of scab football in high school. Swimming was the sport that we were in. As you know, I tried to get you and Todd in, and I saw you both shaking there that one day. And that. Then we went into the wrestling, and it just seems that now wrestling just seems to be the sport. In fact, we were at a wrestling tournament today.
One. Right.
But
so you used to coach wrestling, right?
Yeah, with
what team?
The Dundee Highlanders and the Schaumburg Junior Saxons, which became the Mad Dogs.
Now you also coach what other sports?
Baseball, soccer, a little bit of soccer.
What's the name of your baseball team that you coached?
The Stallions, and I think it was the Varios a little bit, and then the Stallions. When you had the Stallions, and I forgot what the name of the team when we were in Schaumburg when they couldn't get a uniform to fit Todd.
I don't remember.
Oh, they couldn't get a uniform. He didn't have a jersey. He had to wear a T-shirt. They didn't have one big enough for him.
All right, go tell the stories. So my kids are going to want to know how brave I was when I was little.
Well, let me see.
Mark. Let's go to the Mark story first.
Well,
In the basement. You
Listen.
can tell it.
We used to have a basement there, and your dad,
Where?
Mark, was a business in Carpentersville. And when I'd send your dad down to the basement to get something, he was afraid of the boogeyman. So you know what he did? He'd take Mark with him, who was a little baby, and he'd hold him in his arms and go down the stairs there, because his idea is if the boogeyman was down there, he'd throw Mark to the boogeyman and make his escape. That's how brave your dad was. And the other thing was he used to watch this what? Money?
You used to go and pay me to go in there, remember?
Oh, I don't remember that.
You'd give me
a nickel?
to go down to turn the light on in the basement.
Oh, well, I don't remember that.
And that's what I would. We had the basement before it was finished. We had the unfinished basement. Then we finished it and had the utility room part, the washroom part, and the finished part. But that utility room was so scary because it was so dark, and you used to go and pay me a nickel to run down there to turn on the light. And that's why I brought Mark to get my nickel so that I could throw him to the monster.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, the nickel.
But this is your brave father,
now,
too.
We're going to talk about a TV show.
There used to be a TV show called The Night Stalker. This was about vampires and that. And your dad used to like to watch this show. And if this is Alex's or Robert's grandkid, this TV show was real scary.
That was
we
Creature
had a dog.
Features, by the way.
What?
Creature Features was the show that was scary, but The Night Stalker is the one that you're referencing for the story you're going to tell right now.
Well, The Night Stalker is like a vampire guy who'd go around and
modern times in
modern
Seattle.
times and suck the blood or get the blood and keep it in the refrigerator and he would get real scared. So we had a dog. We had a big dog, and I used to
What
get
kind of dog was it?
Boxer mix and Queenie.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I'd get these bones from the butcher. So while your dad is down there watching the movie and getting all scary, I go and I put the bones in his bed. So now the show ends, and he comes up, turns out the light in his bedroom with Uncle Todd. I don't know where Uncle Todd was sleeping.
We had bunk beds.
Yeah, well, and he jumps into his bunk bed, and he hits the bones and starts screaming and is scared.
And I mean screaming, hysterical screaming.
That night, he slept with the lights on like this, holding a crucifix.
In bed, on top the bunk, with my brother Todd.
I didn't know that you had Todd for...
Yep, and I wore a crucifix for 30-some years because I was so deathly afraid of vampires. I don't even like watching The Littlest Vampire, but yeah, that's the kind of mean stuff that this guy right here did to me. And he was always known... Now, Uncle Babe was known for doing what when we were kids, too?
Knockies.
Yeah, noogies. Noogies and Whisker Love. What's a Whisker Love?
Oh, I did the Whisker Loves to you.
Well, give it what's a Whisker Love.
Yeah, I did the Whisker Loves to you. Well, Uncle Babe got caught by the kids next door who used to give these Russian rubs to the
And what were their names?
Oh, I don't
Barneses.
know. What?
The Barneses.
The Barneses. One's a doctor in Arkansas. I don't know.
Yeah,
They're
moved
both
on
doctors.
Yeah.
And they got him one time because now they're bigger than him, and they gave him a knock.
Yeah.
Well, that's I don't have.
No, we got a couple more things. We only got a couple more minutes left here. But out in Cary, what kind of recreation do we have out in Cary?
Oh, we had the boats, ski boats, the pontoon boats.
Yes. So we had two boats out there.
Yeah, a speedboat and the ski boat and the pontoon boat.
Now, what else did we like to go and do in the yard, play in the yard?
Oh, it was baseball, and the others would come there and pitch horseshoes, and we'd have, I don't know about the bow and arrows.
I shot Grandpa in the arm once. When I was a kid, we were told we could shoot the bow and arrows, and you could shoot them. We would shoot them from basically the end of the new house towards the old house. Now, I remember Grandpa coming home from the store one time, and I let it rip, went up through the longest one I ever got, and I hit my grandpa in the arm. Not a smart move. Mm-hmm. We were not allowed to play bow and arrows after that.
No, you guys. It was
Who lived
nice.
across the street? Who owned the Broken Oar?
Oh, I forgot. There's been different owners.
The one family that was.
The name
They had a
doesn't
cute
come
girl
to me.
there, is
I
all
know
I
I'd have to
remember.
go and I'd have to go to the cemetery and look up on the.
Speaking of the cemetery, where's Grandpa at?
Grandpa's at Windridge Cemetery. That's
With?
where Uncle Babe is. Uncle George.
Which Uncle George?
The big Uncle George. Big Uncle George is in. Is sharing the niche with my grandmother at the Bohemian National Cemetery.
What about Uncle Hank or Uncle Bob
I don't know where
Aunt
they're.
Ethel?
Aunt Ethel is at Woodlawn Cemetery in North Riverside. That's where most of the Raiders are.
Now
And the Lusks too.
All right. Anything else you want to tell your future generations?
What to tell them? Don't reach back.
Get off your knees. That's the old wrestler there.
That's it.
right.
I hope that you're having good fortune when you're viewing this.
All right, Dad. Thank you very much for your time. I love you.
Love you too.